We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Grab out.
European Ultimate Championships 2023 Women's Division action here on day 2 of the full formalities. Of course, day 3 of the championships after that. Rather windy, blustery opening ceremony back on Saturday. Myself, Hannah Pendlebury, in the booth alongside Christina Obermeier. And we have the Swiss women against the Polish, who we saw on the live streams fall to the Netherlands with quite the large margin. Christina, how are you feeling about their chances against the Swiss?
It's exciting to see them again so soon as well, because this is a very different setup now. They've already played one of their second pool games, and this is a make or break moment for them. They are lost in the pool currently, and they have to get this win. The Swiss are 1-1, so on wins and losses. Poland is 0-2. If they get that, they even up the score. If they don't, well, I don't see them going into upper pools.
Well, there's plenty of redemption opportunities here in the women's division. Darsa Cerule, one of the actual Latvian-born players, been with this Swiss national women's side for quite some time. But the Swiss getting to the goal line very, very quickly here for their first point, and it's an easy pop high into the hands of Laura Niederhauser.
Yeah, that pole was on the attacking half already, I want to say already red zone position for the Swiss to start that first point, and that is ideal for them, and not what Poland wants to give them, making this field short and just the opportunity to score that much easier. Of course, we have a upwind downwind situation here. Pulling into the wind is always going to be hard, but you want that to at least hit midfield and be ready and firing on defense once people are adjusting to go on their offensive run to score. And Niederhauser did very well of cutting from the break side towards the open side, slashing over and securing that disc with a one-handed grab.
So to talk a little bit about the format then and this potential opportunity. So the 2 bottom seeds in Women's Pool H will be in Power Pool K. They will carry over the result between the 2 of them. At the moment, it does look to be the Netherlands and the Polish, but of course, still yet to have that deciding game as well between the other 2 teams. So anything had happened, but as long as you finish in the top 2 spots of the lower power pool, you do have a crossover opportunity. So there is a way to fight your way back through this women's division, which of course has had lots of games that maybe didn't mean the most, but that's a lovely shot into the space. Unfortunately, not able to connect. Pamela Salitra. Actually, no, I tell you what, that's the wrong 40-something. That's the 49, not the 46. Agata Strakowska-Ruda.
That put nicely, waited in the end zone, but just not quite there was the Polish target, and Swiss get the break opportunity.
Well, in their game this morning, we saw them unable to execute their throws with quite the dynamism that they would have hoped. But of course, the Swiss are very used to playing against some breeze. And this is nice movement upfield. Schindler now looking to move it forward to Schenk. Opens up an absolutely gorgeous huck to Flüler. This is really nice, easy movement for the Swiss, like a warmed knife through butter. But there is a stone-cold drop on the field. Escapes the hands of the Lithuanian Aiste Guabete. So disc once back in Polish hands even, not Polish, goodness. Depowska, the number 16, did a really good job yesterday of attacking the disc with aplomb. Schacht now, a little bit high, and again you can see that little quirk to some of these Polish throws. Like bringing them down still fairly well. Stack looking a little bit not quite as energetic as we've seen the Polish. Clearly trying to be patient and bide their time. Attacking that inside channel and then freeing up for the break. Just trying to work through the handler set. Now very close to the goal line. Doroba with the throw that is laid out into the end zone. The first goal for the Polish women's team will be a layout score for Anja Schacht.
Yeah, Schacht collecting that throw out of Doroba. Their celebration, very cute. The assist giver and the goal scorer together holding that disc up, and everyone going underneath there like that. They're keeping mentality high, and we'll see a replay of that again up the line for Doroba, and then just hard release backhand pop and making sure that disc stays in her hands is Schacht for that first Polish score. Not a clean hold, but a hold nonetheless, and great work and a beautiful flow going down the field on that Polish side. And the two main handlers for this Polish team, Salitra and Doroba, two Panthers, Wrocław players, who are doing most of the important handling work for that club team as well. You can see they know each other very well, and that just worked out perfectly for them here.
Well, the Swiss O-line coming out once more. Major, Cerula, and that's Lehmann working the backspace against the Polish zone. We saw used to great effect to slow down the Dutch earlier this morning, but making quick work of it. Easy movement, Cerula now with that iconic Latvian height we talk about, and there a quick 1, 2, 3 around the side of the end zone cup, and the score for the number 34, Laura Niederhauser.
A second goal for Niederhauser early in this game, and it didn't feel like Poland put a lot of pressure with that arrowhead zone. Those swings were easy, and there was always one or maybe even two open players, and we can see that score working up here from one side to the other, and every single person was alone there. And I do like the using zones. I think though, when you're going downwind, having a cup zone puts more pressure on the throwers, which you want to do, and then going upwind, an arrowhead zone, making them throw many passes, and these passes are always going to be harder into the wind, is the technique I would go with, but that's just my personal opinion, and of course I'm not a coach, but
well, the other thing that I think about playing the zone is that actually the advantage perhaps for the Polish women is they have, I think, 3 or 4 extra players in terms of comparison to the Swiss, and in terms of the average age of the team, they are much younger. They have players that are in their teens, whereas in contrast the Swiss have more masters age athletes amongst them. Not to say that there's any obviously difference in terms of the top line speed. These are all world-class athletes in front of us, but certainly maybe that little bit of extra youthful energy playing zone allows the Swiss to be more patient, to not have to run quite as hard, which when you've got a shorter and more mature roster, certainly playing a bit of match coverage would really start to grind down those legs. But it's all about the offense of the Polish right now, trying to just keep these passes together. A little bit of wobbles on the give goes. Doroba through to the number 46, but throws it too far. Selitra overcooks it.
Yeah, just released that a bit too early. Just going to the ground, and the Swiss side with another big opportunity early on in this game.
Well, they got so close last time with that beautiful shot downfield. See if they'll try for those. They are being squeezed to that far sideline. A low inside breakthrough gets to Egger. Just a reset for Lundsman. Front corner action, and that will be the break upwind. Fiona Pacifico.
Swiss with that first break of the game, really punishing the Polish side for that miscue on the early throw, and Lundsman taking control of that point, getting every other in the handler set, resetting and going up the line and again here, and then putting the disc just into space for that score. And that Lundsman actually lives in Dublin now and studies there, from Zurich originally, and you can see she knows the weather and she likes it.
Absolutely, it was all about adapting to the conditions here. Much windier than it was this morning for the matchups here in this women's division, Pool H. Of course, the Italians currently sitting pretty at the top of the standings with a goal difference of +15. The Swiss had that very thrilling sudden death loss to the, that win again, against the Netherlands, which carried on from their previous pool, that initial seeding game. So this to really make sure they go into the potentially bottom power pool with the best position.
And to notice that is that there's different numbers of pools, so we have pools of 4 and pools of 3, making this whole situation quite difficult. And there's a near Callahan.
That was an absolutely exceptional pull from the Swiss women, putting all the pressure in the world on these Polish athletes, as is the laying forms. But look at the response to the pressure. The Polish women escaping, but there indeed is the drop. Joanna Daposzka unable to connect. Lundsman to pick up. Bit of chink moves in the backspace, but that is going to be too far for Veronique Maillot. Little poach off into the open lane. Spacing from the Polish women has not been always the best, so these poachers able to do some serious work, confusing the lanes. Daposzka now. Inside, going to be taken away, picked out of the air by Aiste Gubate. And the shot, though, too far to be reeled in. And missed one, Schindler, with a great effort.
It definitely was. Got a little bit excited there, and maybe the wind carried it a bit too far, not quite how it was intended. And this point is the first one that we see get many turnovers, with that Polish O-line being out there again after getting broken.
Friszkinska getting us started. And that's an immediate turnover for the Swiss and a short field opportunity to get another break in a row, and surely that's going to be good. It is indeed, reeled down by Erika Latufka even.
Bookends for her, jumping up high, getting that D, and then doing the exact same thing on the other hand to get a score as well. See that D first, both players right there, and then popping it over to Maillot and jumping into the end zone. Latufka. I do believe there is a timeout on the field.
There is indeed. Clearly the Polish women have something to think about in terms of trying to adjust against this feisty person defence from the Swiss women. And as the athletes out there take a break, we will too, but don't go anywhere as the Polish try and get back in this game. Currently the Swiss lead 4-1.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe. ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
First half, and the Swiss are currently leading in women's pool H here in front of us, 4-1 over the Polish, who fell to the Spanish earlier on today. Myself, Hannah Penderbury, alongside Christina Obermeier on the call, and the Polish women to pick back up with enviable field position nearly directly at the brick mark. Lewandowska opens up a beautiful inside-out backhand and connects easily. Sara Doroba for the goal.
And I do think this is the first time Lewandowska has taken on the field, so waited for the next gear to start, and we see that cute celebration again. Everyone on that Polish side running underneath the disc, held by Lewandowska and Doroba, who got that goal. Again, Panthers connection.
Indeed, Paulina Opatra, as she's lovingly known. Of course, no longer residing in Poland, currently living in Tenerife in the Canary Islands. So she's gotten lots of practice throwing in the wind, because obviously small island nations tend to have quite a lot of breeze, because you're right by the sea no matter where you are.
And there's a lot of beach ultimate as well.
There certainly is. And I've a little look at us here in the booth, trying to stay warm. The sun has appeared once more today, but anyone who's ever played in Ireland, perhaps in the World Masters Championships last season, can tell you get all 4 seasons in the space of about half an hour here in Ireland. You have, currently it's a bit of a spring feeling. It's a chill in the air, and the wind relatively sustained.
I'm waiting for the snow this week, and I'm sure we're going to get a little bit of that.
Well, we had some sleet earlier today. I thankfully had managed to find myself indoors when that particular weather condition occurred. Having a chat to one of the physios here who said they've been very quiet, which I think is the right kind of gripe to have for the physio tent. We see some spectators there on their bicycles, just randomly cycling through the University of Limerick complex where we are right now. So good movement across the field for the Swiss O-line. Gallant pops it through. Players sort of swirling around a little bit, losing their timing. But nice find up line. There is a free target, but it's Holstead. Throws the second ask, and it's a knee slide with a spin on the floor. Eliane Lerman with the goal to add to her already very impressive stats tally.
9 total assists and goals combined. 5 assists and 4 goals, making that 5 and 5 and 10 in total. Very impressive stuff. You see a replay here going for this under, and this first opportunity just maybe timed a bit too early, and this second time around gets there rolling like a dog having fun with a Frisbee.
Oh, I'm not sure we're allowed to say that on a live stream. But we mean it in a, we mean
dogs
it
that are rolling around and just, like,
we
enjoying
mean
their
it
life.
in a complimentary way. Absolutely.
course.
Like this is the thing you must always realise, dear viewers. Everything we say on a live stream is largely meant in a complimentary or sympathetic fashion. That just tickled me quite a lot. All right, well, we hope you're enjoying this live coverage. Of course, free on demand forever on YouTube and right now in person. Well, we're in person, you're watching this at home, but we are keeping you involved, connected, of course, to this wonderful sport in front of us. Lewandowska is going to open up another juicy backhand hook, and that is going to be eaten up in the end zone. And it's another correct connection to Sara Doroba.
As our friend and fellow co-worker Lisa Smulders would say, another one. It's the same thing drawn up.
It's an action replay, you know. Why, if it works, why not use it? Lewandowska, especially downwind, those are beautifully weighted shots, and the separation downfield, two options available. Antonina Tatai as well on the near side, but that one an easy pick off for Sara Doroba.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a case of fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. We and hopefully the Swiss side as well, we know the kind of arm and ability that Patra Lewandowska brings to this Polish side. Stop her from getting this first look. Like every time she will host her one, to put a big fake in your. You've already done part of this job. She's a Eurostar player. She is very important for this Polish side. You can't stop all of it, but stop that initial easy backhand hook.
Absolutely, maybe flatten out that force, get bigger and get a little bit further away to really challenge the space, make yourself as big as humanly possible in front of your matchup. But it's going to be the Swiss racing down the field. Dasa Cerula, who had 12 stats total coming into this game, overshoots a little bit. It looked like there was a potential opportunity for Rydweg to, put up an arm there and maybe get the clutch, but an opportunity for the Polish women to get back one of the breaks they currently trail by 2 in this game. Kulikowska is going to shoot one into the breeze for Lewandowska. Clearly trying to use Patra upfield to do some damage. Marszalek now. Oh, Lewandowska, absolute beauty, but surely that's the defences. It is indeed. A little bit of collateral on the back of the neck for Dasa Cerula, but quite happy to play through it.
It's fine. Had the position there first. Read that play a bit better than the Polish offensive player there.
Oh my goodness! Ola Marszalek with the run-through layout block. Woof! Kulikowska, of course, playing alongside Marszalek, who just got that deep for London Masters Ultimate. Back in the UK, they both reside in London, but that's going to be an overshot, trying to connect with Marszalek on the reset space.
Miscommunication gives the disc back to the Swiss side for the 3rd time this point.
Niederhauser finding Major, who's looking for that big ripper into the deep space, but Holsters, that one's high but fine, so big poach off for Rydweg. Hotstetter now. Casual left-hand grab. And a throw into the end zone. That is an absolute beauty. The Polish women came so close to getting a break back in this game. They had 2 opportunities right by the goal line, but not to be.
And Marszalek leaving her body on the line to try and get some kind of touch on that disc, but the shot just too good from Avdukic. See the replay here, putting it out into space over the head of the defender, and the jump timed perfectly by Mayo.
Well, it's been a busy season for Marszalek, because she is playing, as we mentioned, in the club division, but she is also going to be representing UK in the Masters division.
Interesting. On the women's side,
I believe she is indeed on the Masters women's side for GB. of course, being eligible for both. She's a resident in the UK, but of course a Polish national by birth, and has appeared on many Polish teams in her club history, of course, most recently for Troubles.
Yeah, I was just going to say I played her again and again on Troubles, and usually my matchup, I think, as well. Very speedy hander.
As well as lots of beach representation, stretching all the way back to 2013 at ECBU. Wonderful tournament that was.
I don't know what I did 2013, but definitely wasn't playing Ultimate.
Well, I had the pleasure of playing that beach tournament myself back in my playing days, of course, now focusing more on our work in the booth here. Tatai with an up line that's nearly batted away. Very close. Czakowska Rudi. Salitra with a high release over the top, exceptionally well read by Doroba. Lewandowska with the around break. Something they definitely want to challenge in this game, she said. Trying to take on the force to give themselves an easier job upfield. Although the intensity of this match coverage from the Swiss is something of note. Doroba with the high catch. Sorry, the high throw that's well brought down by Katarzyna Palma.
You can see that Polish handler set, especially Lewandowska, Doroba and Salitra doing so well together, and you can see that they have so much chemistry and really working whichever way they want to. It's very impressive stuff. And then the cuts out of the stack, very well timed to find the score in this situation, or in others just get some yards on down the field and then putting it back, going to the other side. And I do think that having good resets is one of the most important things in Ultimate. Just knowing that if you're trapped on the sideline, you can get it back to the middle and you have the system installed. So important, and Poland are really showing off that they've worked on that in their preparation.
Well, it's an interesting one for the Polish in terms of their adjustments in this game and their ability to do that. They don't have any non-playing coaches. They're being led by Marczelek, Rosinska and Lewandowska. But of course the Swiss have a head coach with loads of experience, Olivia Hauser, who's currently recovering from shoulder surgery, which is why she's not playing this season. Oh, that's a bad miss for the Swiss, and a golden opportunity for the Polish to try and capitalise. Kulikowska into the centre. Has Marczelek slightly poached off, but puts another tasty flick huck into the sky. Celula, though, reading it all the way into those big gloved hands. Fire on the far sideline. Gobita puts one up into the end zone, and it just falls over the pack of the defenders. This time, no mistakes. Adovkic with the goal.
A bit of a miscommunication there when the Swiss side was on defensive play, very open downfield, but a great defensive effort by Zirule to get it back, run after it, and she was actually in the way of that throwing lane and could position herself very well. And on that other side, the Swiss get it with, again, a bit of a better read, I want to say. Two Polish defenders close to the end zone, but Azra Avdukic just reading that play better and waiting and the disc into her hands for the score.
Well, she also had just generally better position to make that catch. You know, she's coming sort of from behind. The defenders are having to try and read it as it goes almost directly over their heads. So it's difficult to find the right pocket, whereas the vision that you can have when you're on the other side of the play and just come towards it and attack well. So Avdukic with a slightly easier task at hand. But of course, it's always easier when the disc is being thrown to you.
Of course it is.
Lewandowska with the centering pass. Now at the brick mark for this Polish O-line. Trying to clearly isolate certain individuals in a dominator style set, as the rest of the stack stay more or less still. Not really making much of any potential deep cut opportunities. See a little bit of frustration from Palmer. Oh, the hand block is going to take the disc away. Hannah Egger.
Nice stuff there. Reading the play very well on that mark and knowing that it's time for her to reset backwards, and in that instance just jumping with and getting a clean block.
So Doroba signaling that she wants some help from her sideline in the chat. Schenk with a low release flick that gets snaffled up by Katarzyna Palma, who races off towards the end zone, but it's an immediate first pass turnover. Anja Schacht with the miscue.
Trading turns their sides now. Linsman to pick up for the Swiss.
And timeout call, I think that's fairly wise as the turnover count starts to creep up here, Christina.
Yeah, it is for half. If the Swiss make it here, they can break for half
and you might as well use it, because otherwise you can't use those timeouts that you have allocated to the first half. But as the players on the pitch take a brief repose for some refreshment, we will too, as we get a lovely shot of one of our camera ops, the lovely Jack in his dashing poncho far sideline. But don't go anywhere, this game will continue as the Swiss look to take half with one more point.
We are Hive Ultimate, a group of players and coaches from all over the world working together to progress the next generation of Ultimate strategy. We've helped top teams win world championships and new teams introduce the sport in a fun and inclusive way. Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn more about our cutting edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
After the timeout, the Swiss looking to close up this first half. They currently lead in this women's division, Pool H 7-4 over the Polish women, who have yet to get a game win in this tournament so far. European Championships, of course, 2023. That one's going to sail over the top, though, and be taken away. Katarzyna Palma with a third defensive effort, I believe, in this single point. She knows where the Swiss want to throw the Frisbee, apparently. Lewandowska now looking for options. Oh, I love those inside high release flicks. They're absolutely delicious. Taking a leaf out of Anna Minard's book from the earlier game this morning. It's a second one to that offside, nearly slammed away, but the chuck into the end zone going to be too much to ask of Katarzyna Palma. A loosey-goosey disc, not the way to put him in.
Yeah, I got a bit happy there, and we'll get a replay of those wonderful inside high release flicks.
That second one was a little bit dicey, Christina.
It was, but if you have a receiver like Salitra there with Doroba, I'm gonna put them out. I would put them out as well.
So a horizontal stack for the Swiss women. They came out of the timeout with a side stack that didn't work out at all to plan. But the underneath poach from Lewandowska opens up Hannah Egger on the far sideline. This to shoot against the wind to take half with a break of score for the Swiss women. It's going to be a lead charge. Dodoma, though, with the block, pops it up over the top like Matt Klein, but it's going to be good enough for the turnover.
Not a lot of options for the Swiss to continue and to work it up the field. They have to go sideline, up the line again, and these mistakes are always going to happen. And that's a timeout for the Polish side, really not wanting to give up. Second timeout at this point.
Absolutely. Well, this is going to turn into a 10 or 15-minute point here. 7-4 the current score. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back to see if the Swiss really can finish it 8-4. What could be the very closing moments of the first half here as the Polish women look to survive here against the Swiss women, who have been looking pretty fine. Vettel 2 breaks up on their opponents and of course started the game on offense with that extra Brucey bonus. But the Poles will have something to say about it. Palmer through to Tatai. Those wonderful multicoloured base layer shorts underneath her kit. Real dazzling scenes. This is lovely, dazzling offense. Just trying to keep them this moving and change the angle of attack. Inside shot, no, it's around this time. And the layout score for the Polish women. They hold. It took them that long for a hole, Christina, but it worked beautifully. And you see the amount of mud on Anya Szasz's jersey.
A well-deserved hold, but it also was deserved that it took that much time. The Swiss gave it their everything, and their D-line just not quite there yet with continuations. And after that timeout, the Polish side really knew what to do. They looked like in full control and getting all the cuts at the right moments. And you see the beautiful layout score. It takes a layout score, right? This is how far the Swiss are pushing the Polish side. 5 turnovers and so many more layouts and grabs under a lot of pressure. And I think you can't be super happy because you had opportunities and didn't score, but on the other hand, you pushed them so far if you're rooting for the Swiss. So overall, of course, they could be better, but for now, this game, they're taking away whatever they can.
Well, certainly the Polish defense is starting to rise in response to those 3 unanswered goals from the Swiss women's team. Of course, they started off, they had 3 clean offensive holds to match those 2 breaks, one of which was also a clean break. But it has been more turnovers in the case of going against these Polish side for the Swiss women as the game has developed. Although this is looking mighty fine indeed. They race 3/4 of the way up the pitch and now so near to the goal line, just taking those open passes as they emerge. Secondary reception though, that is going to be too far. Bit of haste from the arm of Azra Avdukovic. Goodness, I keep looking at my pronunciation guide, it's been putting me off. Avdukovic.
Yeah, just nice flow and collection and a good cut from Niederhauser, but the disc very low and maybe just a bit too far out will give an opportunity for a Polish break.
Czerwonko on the far side, throwing a turnover off the first pass. Just a bobbled catch. Or no catches, I should say, because it wasn't completed. So in extremely short field, Dasa Sarula picking it up. Came across to study in Switzerland many moons ago, and it's an easy one-pass score for the Bern organic chemist, mixing up something delicious here on the field, and that will be the Swiss half 8-5 over the Polish women.
Good first half, loads of pressure, but the Swiss up in front just that little bit, time and time again. But I'm so excited for the second half because I think this game has everything in it still. It could go to either side, but both teams are gonna take a huddle and we can look at some match stats.
Indeed. Well, the clear and obvious difference is the lack of breaks for Poland, and certainly the missed opportunities on the break chances. They've had 4 of them, but they're giving opportunities double trouble to the Swiss, of which they've managed to, of course, convert those 2. But at the moment, as you say, anything could happen, Christina. Certainly, we saw the Dutch team race away from the Polish women in the first half. They went on a total unanswered point scoring of 7 in a row, including 2 breaks coming into the second half. But then they did trade out nicely. So if they can hold their nerve here and snag a couple of breaks in the second half, as you say, it could be a very different storyline that we finish off here in these closing matches of Pool H before advancing through to the Power Pool stage. But we're going to take a break here in the booth. Don't go anywhere though, as the Polish try and grab themselves a win in this tournament.
Search for Hive Ultimate on YouTube to learn about our cutting-edge strategies and to see analysis of world-class teams. To find out what Hive can do for your team, head over to our Patreon page where you can gain access to our exclusive drills and session plans and to join our worldwide community of coaches. Get ahead of the curve with Hive Ultimate.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
Second half here, European Ultimate Championships 2023 Women's Division, Pool H in front of us, and currently we have the rain appearing once more on the lovely, lovely fields in Limerick. They're so luscious and so green, because of course they get a frequent watering in this Irish summer. As you see, The Polish women advancing towards the end zone line. It's a high one, but a good one. Trying to attack the break side and the around throws. They said they would, but that one's going to be just close enough to touch it, but not to catch it. Great effort. Eine shot again, picking up plenty of mud on that jersey.
Definitely not the intended receiver for that shot, but nevertheless trying and giving it her all. See that overshooting Dubowska. So close.
I don't know, maybe it was the plan all along, but just didn't pay off. Of course, the other team's currently fighting it out in Pool H. A score update for you. The Netherlands currently trailing by 1 to the Italians. If the Dutch manage to win that, it would be a bit of tied up action to see who will advance into which power pool. Of course, there's the one crossover for the bottom placement of the 2 top power pools, and the 2 top in the bottom power pool will get the chance to go back into the championship brackets.
So that women's division very open still.
Absolutely. Certainly the Swiss have a bit more pedigree, of course. Double silver medalists back in 2015 and 2019 in Gjør, and a bronze at 2007. So they want to be not the bridesmaid this time here in Limerick. Pacifico on the far sideline. Easy pop up to Lundsman, but a pick will bring us back. So the Swiss being forced into some high over-the-shoulder reset swings. Nice and tasty handler marking that one though. A good communication at the last instant. Pacifico with the layout and the assist. It looks like Niederhauser with the goal.
Yeah, Niederhauser in the perfect position. And what a grab though from Pacifico just in front of the end zone, bailing out Lindsman there, who didn't have a different option. And I think I've slightly touched on that before, but the Swiss D-line seems to not have their continuations in order quite yet. They sometimes are lacking of options a little bit, and you can see Niederhauser crossing over from the O-line, I believe, making sure that this score ends up in this on the Swiss side of things, and breaking going into the second half. That's showing dominance from that Swiss side.
Well, they didn't turn over, but I'm not sure you can call that entirely a clean break. Again, that redemption from Fiona Pacifico, much needed, a clutch grab in a situation where they could really take off here. You can see the enjoyment of the sidelines. Massive respect to that chap sat in the poncho on the muddy hill. You can see a couple of slip marks already have developed. So anyone who's watching this back for scouting purposes, please do be careful. So you see a little bit of the stats there for Niederhauser.
Our crew member Jack just told me that was actually a Swiss player who had moved up the hill and then at halfway moving up fell down again.
Oh no. Well, at least everybody's more or less donned in complete waterproof gear. So if you are going to slip slide down the hill behind our show pitch, at least you're not going to end up with soggy, muddy undergarments. But soggy, muddy undergarments may apply to Lewandowska, who just couldn't quite get her hands around that one, emerging from the floor. So short field for the Swiss is immediately capitalised upon, and there is the goal, an action roll for the Swiss.
What an impressive play. Schindler with that backwards roll after scoring that goal and keeping the disc in her hands as well.
Well, it's a great heads up, back of stack cut, just emerges beautifully, and an acrobatic finish for the 28-year-old, currently residing in Vienne, although originally from Geneva.
And also it is her first time ever on a national team, the only person as well on that Swiss team that hasn't had international Swiss Ultimate participation yet. So good for her to start her career as an international representing the Swiss player with a goal like that.
Indeed, although she did actually start playing Ultimate back, I believe, in Australia with Brisbane Rydell High from the mixed division from 2015 to 2020, just before the pandemic, and also has had a career playing with Brisbane Fuse before, of course, moving over and playing with Fly High Lausanne. And so, yeah, this is her career highlight thus far, but I'm sure at only the tender age of 28, she's still got plenty of time left, especially with some of the experienced players on this Swiss women's side, who all are in mint condition. Just on the far side. Low inside, that's taken away by the defender, almost like that was thrown directly to Eister. Guabate. Guabate again. Pops forward. Lundsman with a ripper backhand. Going to be a great read underneath it required, and it is indeed delivered by Pacifico once more, who's already dominating this second half for the Swiss. Schindler with the attempt, and it is indeed good. Another goal and another break for the Swiss.
That's 3 in a row now. 3 points and 3 breaks to start the second half off for the Swiss. And we see Lindsman there opening up the big arm. I looked at her face. She wasn't quite sure about that. But if you have someone like Fiona Pacifico underneath there receiving those on the other hand, might as well put them all up and getting the goal as well here.
I'm not sure how much of like an actual sort of visible target Pacifico was when that shot initially went up. You could see, I mean, massive respect for the fact that she didn't actually clatter the mark. It was a really good stop of the sort of momentum on the arm when she released that disc, which is maybe why it soared and sailed a little bit and sat so high. But a timeout being called by the Polish, conceding 3 breaks to open up the second half. I can't blame them, but we'll be back with more action in a minute. Second half in the European Ultimate Championships 2023 Women's Division Pool H before us, and it looks like the gloves have come off for the Swiss. 3 points in a row, all breaks, all clean breaks.
They flipped the switch in that halftime, and coach
Olivia
Hauser, thank you, told us about the mental work they've been doing, and that paid off for the Swiss side.
You see Daroba there, unhappy about it, to sandwiching defenders. Neither of them actually got a block, so there was the opportunity left for her, but she'd already given up on it. Schenk now looking for a reset, just squeezes it through to Eugenia Harms. Also German national, playing for the Swiss for a long time. An offhand lefty into the end zone gets taken away. Great defense by Pamela Salitra.
Too many bodies underneath that in Poland with a get out of jail free card. But caught by the Swiss once again. Red zone opportunity number 2.
Yet they do not pass go or collect €200. They threw directly into traffic, unfortunately. But a swing across. Flüler looking for options. Just about emerging. Oh, Marszalek throwing herself on the deck once more to try and get the block, but it's going to be a little bit of just give and go action over the line. Sharina Schenk with the goal from Eugenia Harms.
Collecting the goal there after that offhand that didn't quite come up, and that is a commanding lead for the Swiss. And we were quite impressed by the Polish performance in that first half, but now it seems like either the Swiss have really stepped up and gotten to that next gear, or Poland couldn't quite accomplish that same stability they had in the second half. Of course, there's 3 or 4 players on this Polish side that are important for their offense and really working very hard. And if you manage to shut them down or get in between these passes that are connecting in small spaces, you really change their game, because I haven't seen a different game plan of them yet. And maybe they have it, but now is the time to go take that and make it work.
Well, there definitely has been some screw turning from the Swiss to make some adjustments. I think certainly we saw some quirky throws in the earlier game from the Poles, but they just seem to be throwing directly into the poachers. I think the lane confusion, the adjustments that they're doing by Torino, just straight up poaching. You know, that's the kind of thing, and the confidence that shows, I mean, deservedly so. That's 4 points, 5 unanswered. The Polish have yet to score in this second half, but they're going to try and root one it. Surely that will be out of bounds, though. Yeah, just comes up a little bit short. There was Fiona Pacifico in the area just in case she was required. She's going to open us up with a quirky flick that's just about saved from the floor by Hochstetter. A dynamic player with such athleticism and turning prowess. We're going to absolutely launch it, though. Running out of time a little bit. Schenk underneath it. A cluster of players running towards the end zone on a high stall. Oh, and that is such a nice throw, but the stall out called on Hostetler, which may well be accepted because she held onto that disc for a long old time.
She did, but that throw was on the money. Won't count, though, because...
Well, no, it may do. You know, the 2 players having a chat about it. Haven't had any signal as to whether it's contested or accepted yet.
Still talking.
But it's entirely possible that the mark can retract the stall out call, in which case that would indeed stand as a goal. So contested. Everyone back to where they were.
And let's do that again, please. That was a bailout shot for sure, the one she put up with. But of course, having some international experience on her side, joining Fabulous to play World Club Championships last year was Hofstetter. So has marked up against various defenses yet, and won't be stifled as she puts it up.
Well, the big marker Volchevich does indeed stand firm and cause the missed throw. Really good continuation across the field. Czerwonka up to Grajewska. That one nice flat across, nearly some friendly fire from the hand of space, but all good. Jashmadej now. Volkovska pops it back. Oh, there could be an opportunity opening up, but there is nobody really underneath it. You could see the set-off from Olga Jashmadej. Yakshmadej even.
And some kind of discussion on the field. Nobody really going for that. I think that was a good option, putting it out into space, but if your receivers don't react to you putting up that disc, well, you cannot play Frisbee on your own. You need a second person.
Otherwise, you're just millhousing. Forever alone. So accepted foul.
Oh, was it a foul? Okay.
Well, it's got to be a foul on the throw if it's coming back, right? I mean, it certainly sailed well past anybody. I think possibly a escaped from jail almost there. It did not look like there had been the set-off that could have been connected with. But I guess, if you're going to, perhaps if the idea was to just sit one out with, a lot of spin, a lot of loft under it, almost on a string, and that could have been a different outcome. Tuda working with the give-go. And then finds the pocket of Olga Yakshmade. But it looks to maybe be a pick. No, it's signaling a goal. It's a goal signalled from the sideline, presumably a neutral passing. In fact, no, that is the Swiss coach. One of the two Swiss coaches. Of course, we do have the head coach, Olivia Hauser, but also Chris Windler, helping out on the far sideline, with the hat covering his fiery locks.
Yeah, he's very incognito in his full-on rain gear, and it doesn't look like we need it. He would need it right now, but wait 5 minutes. I don't want to jinx anything, but these clouds look suspiciously dark around here, and anything can happen in Limerick.
I only see blue sky. I'm not taking. No, there is no bad clouds. No bad clouds, Christina. Please don't let it rain on me again.
No, rain on you. We're covered anyway. That's fine.
No, but it escapes through our commentary bit. We've got a big window in front of us, which is not a window, it's just open air. So we get to feel the elements just as much as the players, just mostly on our electrical devices that sit in front of us rather than on our backs, which of course is what the players have to contend with. Although I've seen some social media posts of people embracing the elements, Christina.
I've seen someone on our live stream jumping into a puddle of dirt on the sideline just to show us his layout ability.
It's like when your coach makes you do layouts in the warm-up when it's really soggy and slippy, and you're like, really? Really? It's too soon, man. It's too soon. Salula, though, with the disc, is going to pop one through to Nida Hauser. It's the first time we've actually seen the Swiss O-line coming out in this second half. Of course, at long last, the Polish put in that 1 point. Big poach off in the backspace, easy dish to Mayor. A floaty one, but in the hand goes from Natalia Popek.
The Polish side have been so close on those up the line cuts. It was time one of those actually connected forward defense here.
Marcellek with a low flat backhand, big old release from the pivot. Just moving it around nicely. Lewandowska looking for Marcellek on the button, hook around. Oh, Holsters with an excellent fake. Marcellek again now has the target available on the sideline, comes underneath it to Daraba. Lewandowska now. Potential thrower. Too much clustering the hand of space. It's going to be a chuck it in hope, and it's taken away by Salula, who pops forward. No one really streaking through from the Swiss. They just want to walk the ball down, but there's a timeout being called by Lara Niederhauser. Currently the score, though, 12-6. They've got timeouts to burn in this second half, Christina.
They do, and that is a very veteran move. We saw that both sides were done already. Really just chilling, not playing ultimate, what they're supposed to do.
It did look very chilled, that opening to the potential break here for the Swiss. But as the athletes take a break, we will as well. Do not go anywhere, though. The Swiss currently leading double the scoreline, 12-6 over Poland.
Every color seemed to bloom, and there's light in every room. Now they're looking up, I can
We saw some of the highlights of this game. We are now back in live action for you. Sarule on the far sideline, but running, streaking through the defensive block. Great vision from Shumchak. But they throw it immediately away. So many opportunities missed. Sarule there doesn't decide to make the bid. Too much of a reach. A little bit of stretch at the back there.
Seems like none of those teams really want to score this point, and it's a meaningful one as well. It could be another break for one break for Poland, their first one of the game actually. So many opportunities for them, and they go down the field again.
Well, moving it nicely. Lewandowska to Marszalek, who sells the mark completely with the fake, but unfortunately miscued the Lewandowska.
That came out of the hands too late, maybe stuck with the fingers, their gloved hands a second too long, and the Swiss are getting back where they lost it the previous possession.
I do believe we have some Latvian supporters on the far side, on the hill, because of course Sarule is indeed a Latvian herself, but residing in Switzerland for a long old time. This is really lovely, just patient swinging around the back for the Swiss, and that pops in. Veronique Mayor for the next Swiss goal. They hold and bring themselves within 2 of the victory. 13-6 now the score.
First time this half that their O-line was on the field, and the Polish side really pushed them hard. They had, of course, 4 breaks in a row, the Swiss, and we've figured out, we believe, why that happened. One of the captains of the Polish side, Wyszynska, is not feeling well and had to leave the pitches to go home and lie down. We don't know what it is quite, but we wish her all the best, and we wish that Polish side strength to come back in that second half and push the Swiss like they have this point.
Call me a pessimist, but I'm not sure I see the Polish women being able to hold back the tide of this Swiss O-line for the required points to stop them from taking this game. They are 2 scores away, so 2 left for the Swiss and a whopping 9. Sorry. You can tell it's a long day for us here in the booth. My mental mathematics is usually much quicker than that, but 9 points required almost on the trot.
It was just a dramatic break.
Oh yeah, for sure. But what a game to call it would be if that happened. Unfortunately, it pops away from Doroba. She looks around in confusion. What on earth just happened to me? But on the charge are the Swiss. A lofty biscuit, tantalizing over the top of the end zone and stealing the point away. Erika Latuska, a little bit of a giggle there as she realizes it wasn't a defender she bested, it was her own teammate.
Whoopsie. Latuska really wanting that score apparently. But I mean, just get it to someone, that's fine. That disc caught too much air, I believe. Definitely not what Schenk intended there. But if you have someone like Lastufka who can reach up high and grab those discs quickly, take that. That is fine. Just put it up there. We see Betty Schnedel and Katarina Ninos, 2 box players, and Betty Schnedel, of course, playing with Fabulous in 2018. So supporting her teammates, 7 Fabulous players on that Swiss national team. Of course, the most well-known Swiss women's team, I believe, and probably the most successful in the last decade. They are European champions, aren't they?
Well, we are hitting the points cap with still half an hour of regulation time left in this 100-minute game slot. So quick work for the Swiss with an exceptional pull. Once again, that will be taken in just in front of the cone. by Lewandowska. Good grind up line and a lovely lead pass from one of the captains and coaches of this squad, of course. Pulling a bit of extra duty, a stumble, but one on the round, a foul call.
I think Schenk is calling the foul, being hit by Lewandowska's layout. That wasn't really a layout, just a stumble.
Well, I think in terms of, it's an off-disc foul. There's just two players colliding with each other. So we get another look at it. Yeah, just clips a little bit. Foul being called, but actually the player calling the foul, if it is indeed Schenk, then stayed on her legs still.
Just prevent it from running on. This probably will stay with the Polish player in the back.
Inside slicey break sets up loads of momentum, but there is nobody attacking the deep space again for the Polish. It seems to be one of the missing puzzle pieces so far in this game. It's just having someone consistently attacking the deep space, being available if they want to take that option on. Salitra now, one of the key handlers of this Polish side. A big one that's going to be slapped away. You can hear that through our headset. Serena Schenk taking charge and looking to finish this game out on a break. Has the upline available, but closed door well by the defense. Throws it though out into the space, and it's a layout score, potentially no ground strip. What a heartbreak. That could have been quite the finish for Selina Flula.
Stretching out, laying out and hitting the ground hard, which caused her to lose that disc. Big arm out of Schenk. She's distributed that one once or twice this game. Oh, and held on to it for so long, but then in the turnaround drops her fingers, and that's of course a turnover.
Well, the full stretch to go. Lewandowska slowly bringing it back into play. Can she make anything of this? It's a high reacher across the field. Sitting in that pocket position on the break mark, you can see the frustration on the Doroba as she looked for Lewandowska to turn around. Bright eyes on this break side, but a straight drop on the Salitra. Unfortunate there.
Just the easiest pass to catch, and probably already thought about throwing it on and couldn't quite get the concentration.
It's the classic. Got to watch it all the way into your hands, like a certain famous Australian handler, of course, Cupcake. Near sideline grind, and it's going to be put up into space, but again, a little bit too far. That one not available for the bid for Serena Schenk.
It's got a bit too exciting here. Game, of course, 15 points as we see here in our screen, and 2 opportunities already for Switzerland to end it all.
And 2 squandered opportunities. Certainly, they're all about not quite rising to the moment in terms of what they told us ahead of this game. They really do want to go for that gold medal this time, having been silver medalists in 2 championships back-to-back, 2015 and 2019. This time, of course, without the throwing prowess of Olivia Hauser, but of course plenty stepping up into similar roles. But another drop and a short field for the Swiss. It's an immediate throw and go situation, and that will finish us off. 15-6 the final score. Just going to work in the end zone. Again, Fiona Pacifico putting this team on her back.
3rd time's a charm. Felt that so many times, and it is true. 3rd opportunity for them to score, and there you go. A Swiss with an immaculate performance, and they can be happy about it, but I do think they have little things to work on and get better as the week prolongs. It's not a big squad. Having multiple turnover points, not quite ideal. Even though we have 2 games a day, those are intense matchups, every single one of them. But an impressive performance, finishing out that game 15-6, and we see some match stats provided by 4 Sportswear on that game here.
Well, considering that there were, hold on, let me do my maths here. 1, 2, 3. Hold on, before I mess this up. Right, so that was 6 breaks in the second half for the Swiss, right? So they came out on offense once. And how many times did they get turned over by the Polish, Christina?
3 times.
So they had 4 break chances that they gave the Polish women in the first half of the game, where they came out on offense quite a few times, but 3 chances were given in the second half. So maybe they were a little bit cold, but certainly some questions to be asked going forward. They certainly were pulling personnel across to keep them warm. But we will indeed try and get a chat. Of course, some players to shout out for Poland. Paulina Lewandowska, of course, with 3 assists in that game. She was doing real work, chucking it into the deep space. Sara Doroba, though, 2 scores and 2 assists and 1 big old block for her stat line. Definitely got to give her some massive credit. But we are going to have a sideline booth interview with Laura Niederhauser, who was cleaning up for the Swiss women in that game. Laura, thank you so much for being with us. How does it feel to win that game 15-6? Because that second half was quite the performance.
Yeah, it feels fantastic. We said to ourselves in the halftime that we just have to keep pushing and we have to keep on going and not let them come back in any case. So that's what we try to do and work hard on every defense, on every offense. And I think we managed to do that quite well. I'm very happy.
Well, tell me about the kind of, because I forget if you were on the line or if you were maybe on the sidelines for the one offensive point you had in the second half. You gave the Polish women 3 opportunities and a potential break of score. So what would you like to see your team kind of maybe adjust in future matches to stop that from happening?
Our offense sometimes struggles with the kind of when do you have to play fast, when do you have to calm down, like this balance, and that sometimes comes in our way, and then I would like to be chilly on offense sometimes more when we see the option, but it's maybe not a 100% throw, it's maybe a 50-50, so I would like us to fake that away and just take the easy reset more.
Well, actually, talking to your coach ahead of this match, she was saying that you've been working with sort of a mental coach. So what are the lessons that you've learned coming into this season to maybe control that energy a little bit?
So shout out to Isar, our mental coach. Yes, we've been mostly working on individual strength. So whenever you feel down or not so secure, that you can get up again. And especially with these points, when you have a lot of turnovers, you need to be self-confident in order to get it back and to then play the best again. And I think it's quite individual, so everybody has to work something out for themselves. But also we try to just take the best away. Like, we are a good defensive team, that's our strength. So whenever we drop or we turn it over, we know that we're gonna get it back. Like, we kind of have that sense, and I think that's very important.
Absolutely. So, of course, you've played a lot of high-level tournaments over the course of your career so far, but it's all about the memories sometimes off as well as on the field. What's been the highlight for you outside of the games here in Limerick so far?
We love the infrastructure. So we love that it's so close and the apartments are great. It's like a little sharing apartment scenario, like you have your own shared apartment with your teammates, and then you can just go home and eat lunch. That's fantastic, because that's not usually at tournaments. You don't have that quality time with your teammates. And we absolutely love that. And then we also had this great win yesterday against the Netherlands, and we really enjoyed that with some songs. You can follow us on Insta and see what we posted there.
Indeed, swiss.ultimate.women if you want to find them on Instagram. Yeah. We indeed have been following the action. We love the social media content. So then, final one for you, of course, back-to-back silver medalists. What colour is it going to be this year, Laura?
It's so tough, like the women's division is so tight. it's just in the end, also with the format we have, it's just like yesterday we lost against the Czech, but then we won against the Netherlands. With the format, we take that game with us, but now it depends what they do, right? So it's just it's really hard to say. I hope we will have a color. We will have a medal, but and in the end, it's a daily basis. You have to see what the team is capable of and what the opponents can do, what the weather's like.
Absolutely. Well, we definitely know you're capable of going on massive runs of scores and loads of breaks in a row. Congratulations, Lala. Go enjoy the celebration with your teammates, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was wicked. So that will wrap us up for the action here in the women's division for today. The Swiss 15 over their opponents, the Polish women 6. But of course, we have one more game slot left for your delectation here on pitches 10 and 11. We will be having a later start tomorrow, folks, to rest the pitches. So don't set your alarm clocks for that 9 o'clock slot, just to give you a bit of pre-warning. But don't go anywhere at 5. No, I say that, but my laptop's adjusted to European Central Time, so for you folks it's going to be 6 p.m, but of course at local time in the Ireland Nation 5 o'clock slot. Here on field 10 we're going to have the Italians versus the Czech Republic, and over on the other live stream it's going to be Germany versus the Czech Republic in the mixed division. So Czech back to back on the fields here in Limerick. But that will close us off with the final scenes from this women's Pool H game. The Swiss rising 15-6 over the Polish women. Will it be another silver medal? Have to find out here at the European Ultimate Championships 2023.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Merci beaucoup.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.